Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of Ignition Time. I hope our community is doing well. Let's just jump right in, everyone. Some new information emerging from the White House about how President Biden wants to reinforce the IRS with additional funding so that the IRS can help the government raise more revenue. Welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, everyone. My name is Dr. Chhoda. This right here is a little bit of information about me. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. Please, if you learn something new, please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That really helps out the channel. Let's just jump right in. Now, I'm sure a lot of our viewers and subscribers have heard about the latest guidance, the latest recommendations from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. Basically, the CDC said that those who are vaccinated can now spend time outdoors without a mask, without fear of catching the pandemic or spreading the pandemic. Because I want you to know that this isn't just about your protection, this is about you protecting others if you're vaccinated. So, what President Biden said as he continues to push for all of us to take the vaccine, President Biden said this: the CDC mask guidance is, I quote, another great reason to go get vaccinated now. Let's roll the tape and hear about this important message first from President Biden. Let's watch.
For those who haven't gotten their vaccination yet, especially if you're younger or think you don't need it, this is another great reason to go get vaccinated now.
And folks, President Biden on the one hand, and then you have the senator from Missouri, the Republican senator from Missouri, highly ambitious character, Josh Hawley on the other hand. Here's a very interesting tweet on your screen from Josh Hawley. The corporate media and the woke mob don't want you to read this book. They tried to cancel it. They failed. 1 week until publication order here. Now think about this. He's complaining about the tyranny of big tech using Twitter, because this entire tweet was on Twitter and posted on Twitter from an iPhone. Okay, so he's complaining about the tyranny of big tech while using an iPhone, posting on Twitter about a book that he wrote that's selling on Amazon. So I want you to think about that for a second. He's complaining about the tyranny of big tech while using Apple, Twitter, and Amazon. Now let's get back to the president. Here's another important comment from the president when he's talking about vaccines. The president said, if you're in a crowd, you still need to wear a mask even if you're outside. Let's roll the tape and check out this important segment from President Biden.
I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
Now, folks, let's shift gears to something really important. Here's the headline of an article on your screen from the Washington Post. White House seeks to make a massive boost in funding for the IRS as the centerpiece of the new spending plan. Keep in mind that the Republicans haven't really bothered to fund the IRS too much, but a lot of the members in the Biden administration believe that the IRS undercollected hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue in the past 12 months. In fact, the IRS commissioner specifically said that over $1 trillion could be collected every year if the IRS had more resources. Here's a direct quote from the Washington Post article. The biggest source of new revenue in the plan comes from dramatically expanding the clout of the nation's tax agency. In other words, making the IRS more powerful, more capable of collecting money from the ultra wealthy. It seeks to beef up the number of agents and give the IRS new tools and technology to execute collections and crack down on avoidance. White House officials have eyed raising as much as $700 billion from toughening IRS enforcement and auditing over 10 years. Two of the people who essentially provided this information to the Washington Post said, although the exact amount remains unclear, the enforcement will be focused on the wealthy. Because folks, I want you to think about this. If someone's making $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a year and their income is reported on a W-2 on their tax returns, there's really not much the IRS can do. And plus, to be honest, that's not enough money for the IRS to go after. But if an individual's making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, has multiple different business activities, has multiple different entities, multiple deductions, they have rental properties, they buy a boat and they claim it as if it's a business deduction. That is the kind of thing that the IRS should go after, because that is where the potential to recapture money for the government, to recapture money that is owed to the US government really lies, because that really is a good use of an IRS agent's time as opposed to trying to chase someone down who's making $40, $50, $60,000 a year. This is why the IRS needs to be reinforced so that the IRS auditors can essentially take a closer look at the ultra wealthy who are effectively trying to avoid taxes. Here's additional reporting from the Washington Post. If approved, the coming White House proposal would represent a remarkable change to the IRS, which has been beset by problems for more than a decade involving steep budget cuts, more responsibilities, and less people working for the IRS. The IRS lost approximately 18,000 full-time positions after 2010, primarily due to cuts from the Republicans in Congress under former President Barack Obama, with the number of auditors falling to lows unseen since the 1950s. In other words, the IRS is understaffed, has now had to do a significantly greater amount of work because they've had to distribute the stimulus checks, they've had to push back the tax filing season 2 years in a row, they've had to essentially pay out the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, they've had to deal with the $10,200 unemployment benefit exemption, the federal tax exemption. So they essentially have their hands full. In fact, these changes have prevented the IRS from collecting as much money as they could. Former IRS Commissioner Charles Rossetti told economists that the tax agency, meaning the IRS, could raise as much as $1.4 trillion in additional tax revenue with better data, better technology, and the right staff members. In fact, Congressman Ro Khanna, who's a Democrat from California, had this to say, because the Democrats want to fund the IRS and want to essentially make sure that people pay their fair share of taxes. In fact, Ro Khanna, again, he's a congressman, he's a Democrat from California. He's the author of the Stop Cheaters Act, which is a bill that aims at dramatically increasing the enforcement of the IRS so that the IRS can collect money from the ultra wealthy, and so the IRS can do more auditing, and so the IRS can have higher reporting requirements. Here's what Ro Khanna said. Democrats believe we should audit rich tax cheats more than poor grandmothers who claim a kid as a dependent. And he said that there was widespread support from the Democrats despite some people not wanting to do it. He said, I'm happy to have that debate with Republicans every day between now and 2022. So again, as you can see, this is going to become a political issue as well. In fact, here's the shocking part. The richest 1% of Americans underreport approximately 1/5 of their actual income. Pretty shocking, according to a National Bureau of Economic Research paper that was published last month. It was also found that audit rates for the richest 1% of our fellow Americans have fallen from about 8% in 2011 down to 1.6% in 2019, which means that rich people's income is not being audited as much as it was in the past. In fact, the audits have reduced from 8-9% 10 years ago down to about 1.6%, which tells you that there's a lot of money out there that can and should be collected by the IRS for the federal government, provided they have the right resources, and this is something the Biden administration wants to focus on. Let me know what you think about this agenda, if you will, from the Biden administration. Let me know whether you agree or disagree. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would really appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.